This is part 2 of Forbidden Love. Sorry it took me so long to make it, but I'm making it now. Anyway, I've just been busy. Now let's begin. Oh yeah, this is going to be fun. Also, it's gonna be dramatic next part. Anyway, let's begin. Bye! You and Dorothy were walking in the garden. She was telling you about how she didn't have the spell of light, actually, and it was just the stone that Ethan gave to her. You were understanding about it, and you couldn't quite understand why Ethan would give his love up just so she could marry someone else. It was quite weird to you, the concept. And Dorothy looked at you and asked, "So, how's your arranged marriage with Julia going?" You looked at Dorothy and said, mm, "I guess it's good. Although, I don't understand why I have to marry her. It won't bring any benefit to my family, only to hers." Dorothy looked at you and said, "Well, it's better than nothing, I guess. What could benefit your family? The only thing that could really is if you married me." You laughed and said, "No, I'm good. I've never really felt an attraction towards you, so I wouldn't marry you." She said, "Then why are you going to marry Julia?" You respond, "'Cause it's my sister and mom's wishes." She looked at you odd and said, "So you just do everything your sister and mom tell you to?" You look at her and say, "No, but you do anything your dad tells you to." She looks at you and says, "I do not, and you know I don't," in an offended tone, and you say, "I was kidding, calm down." As Dorothy storms away from you, you're left with your thoughts. It keeps drifting back to Ray. You wonder how he's doing. Meanwhile, Ray is in his study. He is thinking about you a lot. He knows he is in love with you and he indeed wants to spend his life with you, but he can't. For the simple reason he is the crown prince and he cannot do such lovey-dovey stuff with, well, you. He really wants to, but he may not. It is against the royal family code. It always has been and it always will be. He can't understand why he fell in love with somebody that's supposed to get married to such a close friend of his either. Although he does truly love you and he wouldn't want anything less than to love you. Later on, when you are in your family's estate, the royal family has come to visit. Ray and Dorothy go to the garden where you are. You are with your black wolf. It is quite big. Its name is Raphael. You are petting him while sitting under a tree in the garden. Dorothy looks at you and then walks away because Ethan also came and she wanted to talk to him. Ray notices you're not paying attention too much, so he decides to sneak up on you. He goes behind the tree and then behind you. He puts his hands on your shoulder and says, "Hey, why don't you pay attention?" You jump a bit as you look at him. You say, "Oh, it's you, the nuisance." He was a bit offended at first, but then he smiled. "Nuisance? You're kind of sounding like my sister now." You looked at him and said, Your sister is much more mature than I am. I am not acting like her. Ray looked at you and said, Are you sure? You know, I'm not gonna like you very much if you act like my sister. Only my sister's allowed to act like that. You looked at him and said, Okay, yeah, but your sister is very sweet. He looked at you and said, What do you mean? I know she's sweet, but very? You looked at him and said, What? Is she not that sweet to you? He looked away. You could tell you messed up. You said, "Oh, I forgot. I'm sorry." As you got up and walked away, Ray was left with your wolf, Raphael. He sat on the grass and said, "So, he he must like my sister, and my sister must like him. I don't have a chance, do I?" he said, mumbling to himself. He had hope that you would be into him, but it seems not. I know I could have done better, but this is my Ray X listener part 2. Next part is going to be dramatic. Rejection. Julia, you're gonna probably reject Julia or Ray. Or Ray's gonna get yelled at after he tells his father how he feels. Yeah, but anyway, that's all for now. And should I do something before I do the next part of Ray X Listener, or should I keep doing Ray X Listener? I want to know what you guys want. Anyway, bye.